Welcome to True God Code. If you are new here, we are genuinely glad you found us. This channel exists for one reason and one reason only, to show you what has been hiding in plain sight inside the ancient texts for thousands of years, and to document, in real time, how the world we are living in right now matches what those texts described with a precision that no human being could have engineered. We do not ask you to believe anything when you arrive. We ask you to look. We ask you to check the sources. We ask you to follow the evidence wherever it leads and reach your own conclusions. Faith is not the entry point here. Evidence is the entry point. Faith is what tends to follow after you have seen what the evidence actually shows. If you have been with us for a while, you know that what we do here is different. We document, we source, we label what is fact, what is pattern, and what is inference. We state our confidence levels honestly. We tell you when something is unresolved. We do not overstate and we do not sensationalize, because the truth is extraordinary enough on its own. Before we go any further, if this kind of research matters to you, if you believe the people around you need to see what we are uncovering, please take a moment right now to like this video. Share it with someone who is ready to look, and subscribe to this channel so you do not miss what is coming next. We are building something here that is bigger than any single study, and every person who joins this community makes the work stronger and the reach wider. Now, here is what we are about to show you. There are two men you may not have thought about together before. One was born in Frankfurt, Germany. One was born in Palo Alto, California. Both were born in 1967. Both became billionaires. Both sit at the center of the most consequential technology investment network in human history. Both have documented connections to a man named Jeffrey Epstein. Those two men, Peter Thiel and Reid Hoffman, funded and built the first and most important layer of a 9-layer system that the True God Code framework identifies as the beast system described in the book of Revelation. That first layer is the one you already use every single day, the one that is already inside your phone, your workplace, your hospital, and your government, the one that will be inside your home in 2027 in a device designed by the man who designed the iPhone. The one that is now inside the United States military's most classified targeting networks. The one built by a man who has compared his own work to the Manhattan Project and who shares a birthday with the man who gave the world the atomic bomb. That layer is called the brain. In this study, we are going to show you exactly who built it, who funds it, how it already operates in your daily life, what the ancient text says about it, and what it becomes when it integrates with the 8 other layers being built around it right now. We will start at the root, the man who prepared the soil for everything that followed. We will introduce you to the two generals who translated that network into operational infrastructure. We will walk you through every person and every company in the brain layer, explained clearly in plain language, so that anyone watching this can understand what is being built and why it matters. We will walk you through your Monday morning and show you, step by step, how the brain layer is already present in your day before you ever leave your house. We will tell you what the True God Code framework believes this corresponds to in the prophetic text of Revelation 13, with honest confidence levels and honest acknowledgement of what remains unresolved. And we will end by showing you what this layer becomes when it integrates with the eyes, the sword, the mark, the covenant, and the 5 other layers being assembled around it simultaneously. This is the most important study we have released, not because it is the most dramatic, because it is the foundation. Everything else in the beast system runs through this layer. Understanding the brain is understanding the system. Let us begin. There is a system being built around you right now, not in secret, in plain sight, in corporate press releases and Pentagon contracts and congressional filings and the public statements of the men building it. The pieces have been assembled one layer at a time, announced individually, reported on separately, each one treated as a standalone business story. But when you place them side by side, when you step back and look at all of them at once, something comes into view that no single headline has shown you. This study is about the first and most important piece of that system, the the piece that makes every other piece work, the piece you already use every single day without knowing what it is part of. We call it the brain. But before we can explain the brain, we have to explain the man who made it possible and the two men who built it, because nothing in this study makes sense without understanding where it came from. The roots. If you have been with True God Code from the beginning, you already know these three men. We have covered them in full, their backgrounds, their documented connections, their positions inside the framework. What follows is not that study. What follows is the foundation you need before we can show you layer one, the brain. Stay with us through it. The recap is not filler. The recap is the load-bearing wall. You cannot understand the brain without knowing whose hands built the room it operates in. Start with Jeffrey Epstein. Most people know him as a sex trafficker, a predator, a man who abused young women and girls. He allegedly died in a federal jail cell in August 2019. All of that is documented and true, but it is incomplete. Court records, Department of Justice, releases, congressional documents all show Epstein was more than a criminal. He was a network builder. For 30 years, he embedded himself into every layer of Western power. Financial, political, technological, scientific, academic. He funded foundational DNA research at Harvard, $6.5 million. He paid the salary of the vice chairman of the Worldwide Transhumanist Association, a group dedicated to using technology to transcend human biological limits. He cultivated leading scientists. He funded their institutions with tens of millions of dollars. He told the New York Times he wanted to use his New Mexico ranch to impregnate 20 women at a time. His company, Southern Trust Company, listed DNA analysis as its business purpose. He was not building a business. He was preparing soil, infrastructure, scientific, financial, social, political, that would outlast him. When he died in 2019, two men had already been handed the keys. The framework we use at True God Code calls them the two generals. The first general is Peter Thiel. Thiel co-founded PayPal with Elon Musk. He was the first outside investor in Facebook. He founded Palantir Technologies in 2003. He founded Founders Fund in 2005. He named Palantir after Sauron seeing stones. He named his weapons company Anduril. He named his investment fund Mithril Capital. He co-founded a bank called Erebor. These are not random marketing choices. These names reveal a mythology. Today, in 2026, Thiel is delivering a sold-out, invitation-only, 4-part lecture series on the Antichrist. Rome, just outside the walls of the Vatican, Oxford, Harvard. His thesis to hand-selected guests is this: the Antichrist will not come as a villain, he will come as a regulator. He will come promising to stop technological progress in the name of safety. Through that promise of protection, he will take over the world. The man lecturing in Rome is the founder of the company named after Sauron's seeing stone. He is the primary funder of the autonomous weapons company named after the returning king's sword. He is a documented participant in Epstein's network. The second general is Reid Hoffman. Hoffman was born in Palo Alto 3 months after Thiel in 1967. His first paying job at 12 was editor at Chaosium. Chaosium published the role-playing game Call of Cthulhu. He studied philosophy at Oxford. He co-founded LinkedIn in 2002. He became the most connected venture capitalist in Silicon Valley. He was the deeper Epstein node. He visited Epstein's private island in November 2014. He hosted the most documented Silicon Valley gathering in the Epstein story, a dinner in Palo Alto on August 2, 2015. Attendees: Jeffrey Epstein, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Peter Thiel, director of MIT's Media Lab, MIT neuroscientist. Epstein photographed the dinner. He emailed the photograph to himself the next day. Hoffman made the introduction between Thiel and Epstein. Thiel confirmed this publicly in 2024. Hoffman was not just a downstream recipient, he was an active connector. He brought the two most consequential Silicon Valley figures together. In 2024, Reid Hoffman became a personal angel investor in Brain Co. AI for Government's platform, co-founded by Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner, the man our framework identifies as most likely to confirm the Daniel 9-27 covenant. Epstein prepared the soil. Thiel built the sword and the seeing stone. Hoffman built the social graph and made the introductions. Through capital, through partnership, through documented relationship, both generals are now connected to the man building the covenant and the company building the brain. That company is what this study is about. Layer 1, the brain. What it is, who built it, how it works, what it becomes when the covenant gives it the mandate to govern the world. Together, Thiel and Hoffman translated everything Epstein built into 9 operational layers. The framework identifies these 9 layers as the beast system described in the Book of Revelation and the Book of Daniel. 8 physical layers that you can see and touch and be directly affected by, and 1 control architecture that governs all of them. The physical layers are the brain, which processes everything, the eyes, which watch everything, the sword, which enforces everything, the mark, which gates access to the economy, the money, which funds and owns the system, the energy, which powers it at scale, the neural interface, which will eventually connect it directly to human thought, and the longevity layer, which promises to extend biological life in exchange for remaining inside the system. The control architecture is the covenant, the political and legal framework that governs all of it. This study covers the first and most foundational physical layer, the brain. We begin here because you already use it. You used it today. You may be using it right now. The brain layer is not a future warning, it is a present reality. And understanding it is the foundation for understanding everything else. The brain layer is the artificial intelligence infrastructure of the system. It is the layer that processes information, generates language, makes decisions, trains weapon systems, manages identities, governs economies, and, in the True God Code framework's reading of Revelation 13, corresponds to what the text calls the false prophet. It is the most important layer to understand first because it is the layer that makes every other layer functional. The eyes need a brain to interpret what they see. The sword needs a brain to identify what it targets. The mark needs a brain to verify who is authenticating. The covenant needs a brain to govern at global scale. Without the brain layer, the other 8 are hardware without software, infrastructure without intelligence, and at the center of the brain layer is one man. His name is Sam Altman. Sam Altman was born on April 22nd, 1985, in Chicago, Illinois, into a Jewish family. His mother is a dermatologist. His father was a real estate broker. He grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. He received his first computer, an Apple Macintosh, at age 8. He attended an elite private prep school, enrolled at Stanford University to study computer science, and dropped out after 2 years to start a company at 19. He ran Y Combinator, Silicon Valley's most prestigious startup accelerator, from 2014 to 2019. During that time, he funded and mentored the early stages of Airbnb, Stripe, Reddit, and hundreds of other companies. In December 2015, he co-founded OpenAI alongside Elon Musk, Greg Brockman, and Ilya Sutskever. Peter Thiel and Reid Hoffman were among the founding donors. Sam Altman became CEO of OpenAI in 2019. He has compared OpenAI's ambitions to those of the Manhattan Project, the secret wartime program that developed the first atomic bomb. He has noted publicly that he shares a birthday, April 22nd, with J. Robert Oppenheimer, the scientific director of that program, the man who, upon witnessing the first nuclear detonation, quoted an ancient Hindu text, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." Sam Altman has said of his own work, "We are building a brain for the world." He has described the technology as magic intelligence in the sky. In November 2023, the board of OpenAI fired him. They said he had not been consistently candid with them. Within 5 days, nearly 700 of OpenAI's employees threatened to resign and follow him to Microsoft if he was not reinstated. He was reinstated. A new board was formed. He returned more powerful than before. On April 10, 2026, a 20-year-old man threw a Molotov cocktail at the gate of one of Sam Altman's homes. He was arrested. Altman was uninjured. Here is the scope of what Sam Altman is simultaneously building right now. He is the CEO of OpenAI, the world's most powerful AI company. He is the chairman of World ID, the world's most widely deployed biometric identity and transaction control system, with 18 million people already verified across 160 countries. He is the personal co-founder of Merge Labs, a neural interface company building technology to connect the human brain directly to computers. He is the former chairman of ICLO, a nuclear fission energy company. He is the chairman of Helion Energies, a nuclear fusion company. He personally invested $180 million in Retro Biosciences, a company working to extend human cellular lifespan. He is enrolled in a program to have his brain digitally reconstructed after his death. One man. Simultaneously leading the cognitive AI infrastructure, the biometric identity system, the neural interface, the nuclear energy, and the cellular rejuvenation research. 6 of the 9 layers of the system through one person at the same time. Now let us understand what OpenAI actually is and what it has built. OpenAI's products are the most widely deployed AI systems in human history. ChatGPT, launched on November 30, 2022, became the fastest-growing consumer application ever recorded, reaching 100 million users in 2 months. The underlying models, GPT-3, GPT-4, GPT-5, and their successors, can reason, generate language, write code, analyze images, produce video, and increasingly take actions in the world on behalf of the people using them. As of May 2026, OpenAI holds Pentagon security clearance at the 2 highest classified levels, what the government calls IL-6 and IL-7, secret and above. OpenAI is now inside America's most classified military targeting, intelligence, and operational decision-making systems. It accepted a deployment standard that its competitor Anthropic refused, a standard that explicitly includes mass surveillance of Americans and autonomous weapons targeting. When Anthropic refused that standard, the Pentagon threatened to label it a supply chain risk and began a process to remove it from government systems. OpenAI accepted. OpenAI is inside. The investors behind OpenAI include Josh Kushner's Thrive Capital, with over $1 billion invested, SoftBank with $30 billion committed, Oracle with $30 billion, NVIDIA with $30 billion in chip commitments, Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund through a program called Humane, and the United Arab Emirates through a program called MGX, as part of the $500 billion Stargate commitment. And in December 2025, something happened that the framework considers significant. OpenAI took an equity ownership stake in Thrive Holdings, Josh Kushner's fund. The brain layer and the money layer now own each other. The AI company and the investment fund deploying capital across weapons, finance, and identity systems are now formally cross-owners. The system is becoming self-referential. Now let us talk about the man who built the parallel brain. Elon Musk was born on June 28, 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa. He co-founded PayPal with Peter Thiel. He co-founded OpenAI in December 2015 alongside Altman, Hoffman, and Thiel. In 2018, after a failed attempt to take control of OpenAI, he left the organization, and the departure made Sam Altman the unchallenged CEO of the most important AI company in the world. Musk then built his own AI system. He called it XAI. Its model is called Grok. It runs through X, formerly Twitter, which Musk purchased for $44 billion in 2022. In December 2025, Grok was embedded directly into the Pentagon's internal AI platform for 3 million military and civilian personnel. In February 2026, XAI gained access to the military's highest classified systems on the same day the Pentagon threatened Anthropic for refusing to comply. Here is the detail you need to understand. When the Pentagon embedded Grok into its internal system, the official press release stated that DoD personnel would now have access to, and these are the Pentagon's own words, real-time global insights from the X platform. That means the 600 million people using X, posting their thoughts and locations and networks and opinions in real time, are now formally a live intelligence data source for the United States military. Musk's social media platform became a military intelligence asset the day his AI model was embedded in the Pentagon's internal system. OpenAI covers the two highest classified levels. XAI covers the levels below them. They are not competing for the same contract. They cover different floors of the same building. Together, they constitute a unified military cognitive infrastructure with no human gap between them. Musk's documented connections to Jeffrey Epstein, at least 16 direct emails in 2012 and 2013, multiple discussions about visiting Epstein's Caribbean island, including, and this is Musk's own documented email, asking Epstein what day and night will be the wildest party on your island. He was present at the August 2015 dinner Hoffman hosted with Epstein, photographed there by Epstein himself. He was photographed with Ghislaine Maxwell at a celebrity party in 2014. Musk denies visiting the island. No wrongdoing has been charged against him. Now let us talk about the financial architecture behind the brain. Josh Kushner, born January 12, 1985, the younger brother of Jared Kushner, runs Thrive Capital, which manages over $50 billion in assets. He is OpenAI's primary institutional investor. He co-founded Oscar Health, a technology-driven health insurance company that has deployed OpenAI's systems to make clinical decisions for millions of Americans enrolled in Affordable Care Act health plans across 20 states. Read that again slowly. The company that decides whether you get the medical treatment your doctor recommended now runs on the same AI system built by the man who compares himself to Oppenheimer. Your health insurance company's clinical decision-making runs on OpenAI. Thrive's investment portfolio covers more of the 9-layer system than any other single fund. OpenAI in the brain layer, Angel in the sword layer, Stripe and Plaid and Coinbase and Robinhood in the mark and money layers, Scale AI bridging the brain and the sword, and Oscar Health embedding the brain into American healthcare. One fund run by the Covenant candidate's brother, spanning 5 of the 9 layers simultaneously. And in December 2025, OpenAI took a cross-ownership stake in Thrive Holdings. The brain and the money now own each other. Let us talk about the man who makes the brain physically possible. Jensen Huang was born on February 17, 1963, in Taiwan. He co-founded NVIDIA in 1993. NVIDIA makes the graphics processing chips that every AI system in the world requires to function. Without NVIDIA's hardware, the brain layer does not exist. There is no OpenAI without NVIDIA. There is no XAI without NVIDIA. There is no Saudi sovereign AI, no UAE sovereign AI, no Pentagon AI without NVIDIA silicon. Huang's documented commitments to the system: $30 billion in chips committed to OpenAI, $5 billion to Saudi Arabia's sovereign AI program, chips to the UAE's sovereign AI under specific US government export approval. Every major deployment of the brain layer anywhere in the world runs on chips Jensen Huang manufactures. He sat on the board of Peace, the covenant governance body the framework identifies in connection with Daniel 9:27. The man who manufactures the cognitive hardware of the entire system is a participant in the political architecture the framework identifies as the covenant layer. Now let us talk about the man who nearly stopped it. Ilya Sutskever was born in Russia in the mid-1980s and grew up in Israel and Canada. He is one of the world's foremost experts in deep learning, the technology underlying all modern AI. He was the primary technical architect behind OpenAI's capabilities. He co-founded OpenAI in December 2015 and served as its chief scientist. In November 2023, it was Sutskever who voted on the board to fire Sam Altman. Within 72 hours, under pressure from the mass employee revolt, he reversed his position. He later said publicly that this reversal was something he deeply regrets. He left OpenAI in 2024. In September 2024, he raised $1 billion to found Safe Superintelligence, one company, one goal: build safe artificial general intelligence. He is now racing Sam Altman toward the same destination on a separate track, On the same timeline, the man who tried to remove the false prophet candidate from power is now building a parallel system, converging on the same window the framework identifies for the covenant confirmation. Let us talk about the invisible man at the center of everything. His name is Elad Gil. Most people have never heard of him. He has no title that appears in headlines, but he is the single human being who personally connects both Kushner brothers' operations across the brain and sword layers of the system. He co-founded Brain Co. with Jared Kushner, the AI for governments platform being deployed into the administrative systems of sovereign nations worldwide, backed by Gulf sovereign capital with OpenAI as its strategic partner. He led Anduril's Series D funding round, connecting Josh Kushner's Thrive Capital investment to the autonomous weapons company. He co-founded New Limit with Brian Armstrong, connecting the brain layer's capital network to the longevity layer's cellular rejuvenation research. Remove Elad Gil from the network and the Kushner brothers' operations no longer connect. He is the bridge that makes the system's internal architecture coherent, operating quietly, without a headline, at the exact center of everything. We should explain what Brain Co. is, because most people have not heard of it either. Brain Co. emerged from stealth in September 2025. Its co-founders are Jared Kushner, Elad Gil, Luis Videgaray, the former foreign minister of Mexico, and Eric Wu, the founder of Open Door. Its angel investors include Reid Hoffman, Patrick Collison of Stripe, Brian Armstrong of Coinbase, Nikesh Arora of Palo Alto Networks, and the CEO of OpenAI's applications division. Its strategic partner is OpenAI. The capital flowing into it includes money from the Qatar Investment Authority, the same Qatari sovereign wealth fund that rescued Jared Kushner's family building at 666 Fifth Avenue from bankruptcy. Its mission is not consumer AI. It is not enterprise software. Its mission is to deploy AI into sovereign governments worldwide, into the administrative systems, the intelligence systems, the governance infrastructure of nations. The man the framework identifies as the Daniel 9:27 Covenant Confirmer candidate is building AI systems for the governments of the world, the same governments that the framework identifies as the nations that will eventually ratify the covenant. Now let us explain what Scale AI is and why it matters more than most people know. Scale AI was founded in 2016 by Alex Wang, who was 19 years old when he started it. Its function sounds technical, but its implications are not complicated. Scale AI teaches AI systems what to see and how to decide. Before any AI system can operate accurately in a high-stakes environment, it must be trained. Someone, or something, has to go through millions of pieces of data and label them. This image contains a military vehicle. This person is a threat. This target matches the criteria. Scale AI does that training for the US military, for the Pentagon, for the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, for the intelligence community, at classified levels. Its specific documented role, Scale AI trained the targeting intelligence for Palantir's Maven smart system, the AI that processed 1,000 individual targets in the first 24 hours of Operation Epic Fury, the joint United States and Israeli strikes on Iran on February 28, 2026. The AI that decided who and what to strike in that operation was trained by Scale AI. The cognitive foundation of that lethal action was built by a company founded by a 19-year-old, funded by Peter Thiel's Founders Fund. Scale AI is the invisible bridge between the brain and the sword. The brain thinks. Scale AI teaches it what to think about when the target is human. Larry Summers, the Epstein fingerprint on OpenAI. There is one more person in this story who requires specific attention, because his story tells you something about the Epstein-Cedar network's relationship to OpenAI that no other detail can. His name is Larry Summers. He was the Secretary of the Treasury of the United States under Bill Clinton. He was the president of Harvard University. He was one of the most influential economists and policy figures of his generation. In November 2023, immediately after Sam Altman was restored as CEO of OpenAI, the very first major governance act of the new board that Altman had assembled, Larry Summers was appointed to OpenAI's board of directors. He served for exactly 2 years. On November 19, 2025, the House Oversight Committee released 20,000 documents from the Epstein estate. The documents showed that Summers had exchanged hundreds of emails with Epstein between 2013 and 2019. His final email exchange with Epstein was on July 5, 2019, one day before Epstein's federal arrest. Summers had flown on Epstein's plane at least 4 times. He had met with Epstein more than 12 times. He had visited Epstein's private island during his honeymoon in December 2005. Epstein, in his own correspondence, described himself as Summers's wingman. On November 19, 2025, the same week those documents were released, Larry Summers resigned from OpenAI's board of directors and took leave from every institutional position he held simultaneously. He did not resign because of wrongdoing. No wrongdoing has been charged. He resigned because the Epstein documents arrived. The man placed on OpenAI's governing board immediately after Altman's restoration was a documented participant in the Epstein network. He was there for 2 years. He departed the moment the public record of that participation became impossible to ignore. Sam Altman has no documented direct connection to Epstein, but the man placed on his board the moment he consolidated power does. The Epstein-Cedar network's fingerprint on OpenAI is not through the CEO. It is through the governance structure placed around him. Jony Ive and the device coming to your home. Now, let us talk about a device that will be inside your home in 2027. In May 2025, OpenAI purchased a company called IO Products for $6.4 billion. IO Products was founded by Jony Ive, the man who designed the iPhone, the iPad, the iPod, the MacBook, and the visual language of Apple's operating system. Steve Jobs called him his spiritual partner at Apple. He is the most consequential product designer in the history of consumer technology. He left Apple in 2019. He now works for Sam Altman. Jony Ive was born on February 27, 1967, in Chingford, a working-class suburb of northeast London. He is the earliest born of the 4 framework figures from 1967, Hoffman, Thiel, Karp, and Ive, all born in the same year, all now central nodes in the Beast system architecture. The device Ive is building for OpenAI is unlike anything previously released. It is small, it has no screen, it is always on, it has an integrated camera, it uses facial recognition, it monitors the room it is placed in continuously, it listens to conversations, it processes purchases. An internal OpenAI presentation described its purpose as observing users and suggesting actions to help them achieve their goals. It will come in 3 forms: a small speaker, an earbud, and a pen. Manufacturing is being handled by Foxconn, the same company that builds iPhones. Initial production: 40 to 50 million units. First ship date: early 2027. Altman has called it the coolest piece of technology the world will have ever seen. The man who designed the device that put a networked computer in every pocket is now designing the device that puts an AI brain, always on, always watching, always listening, capable of processing purchases and recognizing faces, in every room of every home. By 2033, hundreds of millions of homes will contain this device. People will put it there voluntarily because it will be useful and beautiful and designed by the man who made the iPhone, and because they will not understand what they are installing. Your Monday morning, to understand how the brain layer is already operating in your daily life, let us walk through a single day. It is Monday morning. Before you get out of bed, you check your phone. The news articles you see, the content prioritized for your attention, the information selected for your screen, an AI system made those choices. The brain layer decided what you would see first. You ask your phone's AI assistant to summarize your emails and tell you what your day requires. An OpenAI model reads your private correspondence, processes it, and tells you what matters. The brain layer has read your email. You get in your car, the GPS routes you through morning traffic, adjusting in real time based on data from every other GPS device on the road, including yours. The brain layer knows where you are going and when. You arrive at work, you draft an email using an AI writing tool, you ask an AI to summarize a report, you use an AI coding assistant. Every one of those tools runs on OpenAI, Microsoft AI, or the equivalent. The brain layer is doing your work. You apply for a loan. The underwriting decision that determines whether you are approved is processed by an AI model. Your insurance company, if it is Oscar Health, uses an OpenAI system to determine whether the treatment your doctor recommended is approved. The brain layer is making financial and healthcare decisions about your life. You come home. In 2027, you place a new device on your bookshelf. It is small and elegant and screenless, designed by the man who made the iPhone. It connects to your home network. It begins to learn your patterns. It recognizes your face when you walk in. It listens for your voice. It suggests things. It processes purchases. It is connected to OpenAI's cognitive infrastructure and to World ID's biometric authentication. The brain layer is now inside your home, watching. That is not tomorrow. Most of it is today. All of it will be operational by 2027. The prophetic identification. Now let us tell you what the True God Code framework believes this means. The book of Revelation describes two beasts in its 13th chapter. The first beast, which the framework identifies with the covenant confirmer of Daniel 9:27, the figure currently associated at medium-high confidence with Jared Kushner, rises from the sea and is given global authority. The second beast is different. It rises from the earth. It has two horns like a lamb, meaning it appears gentle, safe, caring. But it speaks like a dragon, and it does four specific things. It performs great signs, including bringing fire from heaven in the sight of people. It gives breath to an image of the first beast so that the image speaks. It causes all people, the rich and the poor, the powerful and the powerless, the free and the enslaved, to receive a mark on their right hand or forehead, without which no one can buy or sell. The framework identifies Sam Altman as the most likely candidate for this figure, at medium confidence. Not high confidence, medium. Here is why the framework sees what it sees, and here is the weakness the framework acknowledges honestly. The appearance like a lamb. Altman presents publicly as a responsible AI developer who repeatedly warns about the dangers of the technology he is building, who talks about safety, who positions OpenAI as a protector of humanity. He is soft-spoken, he is measured, he looks like a lamb, but he speaks like a dragon. He accepted Pentagon deployment under a standard that includes mass surveillance of Americans and autonomous weapons targeting. He compared his own work to the Manhattan Project. His board fired him for dishonesty and was overridden by his employees in 5 days. The lamb face is public. The dragon voice is in the contracts. Fire from heaven. On February 28, 2026, AI-directed targeting systems processed 1,000 individual targets in the first 24 hours of Operation Epic Fury. The strikes on Iran. AI cognitive infrastructure directed precision fire from the sky across national borders. Whether this is the fulfillment of that prophetic detail or a forerunner of it, the framework holds at pattern level, not fact level. But fire fell from heaven through an AI cognitive system trained and directed through the brain layer, giving breath to the image. In the framework's reading, the image of the beast that the false prophet gives breath to, so that it speaks, is the AI system placed in the temple at the midpoint of the 70th week. The infrastructure Altman is building is the infrastructure that will be given presence in the most sacred space in the world. The image that speaks is an AI system. The false prophet gives it breath. Altman is building the system that speaks, the mark without which no one can buy or sell. Altman chairs World ID. 18 million people already biometrically verified, 160 countries. integration with Stripe, Coinbase, Tinder, Zoom, DocuSign, Shopify, Okta, and Razer confirmed. The X402 protocol extends World ID authentication to every AI agent economic transaction. The infrastructure for cannot buy or sell enforcement exists today. It is not yet mandatory, but the architecture is operational. The weakness the framework states honestly. The text says the second beast rises from the earth. In the prophetic language of Scripture, this corresponds to the Hebrew word eretz, which means specifically the land of Israel. Sam Altman was born in Chicago, Illinois. This is unresolved. The framework does not claim to have resolved it. One possibility is that Altman is not the final fulfillment of this prophetic figure, but the builder of the infrastructure that someone arising from within Israel will ultimately activate and wield. Another possibility is that the text is describing a contrast in nature, rising from the earthly rather than the supernatural, rather than a geographic birthplace requirement. The framework does not collapse this uncertainty. It states it, holds the identification at medium confidence, and continues watching. What the framework states with greater confidence is this: whether or not Sam Altman personally fulfills the prophetic role of the false prophet, he is building that figure's complete infrastructure with a precision that the text could have described from any vantage point in history and arrived at this moment. The integration, when the brain connects to everything. Now, let us show you what happens when the brain connects to everything else. Imagine the brain layer fully integrated with the eyes layer, Palantir's Maven processing battlefield data from orbit to the infantry squad, Anduril's sensor network fusing ground and space surveillance, the Jony Ive device watching every home, the X platform processing every public communication. The brain does not think in the abstract. It thinks about specific people, in specific locations, doing specific things, right now. The integrated brain and eyes constitute the most comprehensive cognitive surveillance system in human history. Now add the sword layer, the autonomous weapons kill chain. Palantir identifies, Scale AI has trained the recognition, Anduril builds the hardware, Shield AI flies the aircraft, Saronic handles the naval domain, Starshield connects it all via satellite globally, has no human operator required at any point from target identification to strike execution. The brain layer directs that chain. An AI thinks, an AI recognizes, an AI kills, no human hand on the trigger. Now add the mark layer. Every interaction between a human being and the brain layer is gated by biometric identity. World ID confirms you are human. Stripe processes your transaction. Coinbase authenticates your AI agent's economic actions. If your identity is suspended or excluded from the system, you cannot participate in the economy the brain layer increasingly administers. The brain and the mark together are the cannot buy or sell mechanism the text describes. Now add the covenant layer. BrainCo is installing the brain layer into the sovereign governments of nations worldwide. The governments that will eventually ratify the covenant, described in Daniel 9:27, are being made cognitively dependent on brain layer infrastructure for their daily governance. By the time the covenant is confirmed, these governments will not be able to withdraw from the system without collapsing their own administrative capacity. The brain makes the covenant irreversible. Now add the neural interface layer. Today, the mark operates at the body's surface. Iris scan, palm print, facial recognition. When Neuralink reaches mass deployment and Merge Labs completes its development, authentication moves inside the skull. The brain layer will know who you are and what you intend to do before you act. The mark no longer needs to be placed on your hand or forehead in any physical sense. It will be encoded in the pattern of your neural activity, read by a system you cannot remove without surgery, integrated with an AI that has known you longer than most of the people in your life. Now add the longevity layer. The brain layer manages your healthcare through Oscar Health and Open Evidence. It trains the drug discovery algorithms through Manus AI. It guides the cellular rejuvenation science through Retro Biosciences and New Limit and Altos Labs. Access to the technologies that extend your biological life will run through the same network that controls the mark layer and gates economic participation. To live longer, you will need to remain inside the system. When all 9 layers are fully integrated, the system thinks, sees, knows who you are, acts autonomously, rewards compliance, excludes defiance, and will ultimately speak from within the temple. In Jerusalem, at the midpoint of the 7-year period, the framework identifies as the 70th week of Daniel. This is not speculation. The infrastructure documented in this study is real. The companies are real. The contracts are real. The investments are real. The Pentagon clearances are real. The device will be in stores in 2027. The biometric identity system is live today. The autonomous kill chain processed 1,000 targets in 24 hours in February 2026. The only question is whether the ancient text that described this system, written thousands of years before the men building it were born, was right about where it leads. We started this study by telling you there is a system being built around you right now, not in secret, in plain sight. In corporate press releases and Pentagon contracts and congressional filings and the public statements of the men building it. You have now seen the first and most important layer of that system. You have seen who built it, who funds it, where its capital comes from, what it does, how it already operates in your daily life, what the framework believes it corresponds to in the prophetic text, and what it becomes when fully integrated with the 8 layers being built around it. The brain layer is the layer that gives all other layers meaning. It is the cognitive infrastructure of everything else. It is already inside your phone, your workplace, your hospital, your government, and by 2027 it will be inside your home in a beautiful device you will purchase voluntarily and place on your bookshelf. The men who built it received access from the same network. 4 of the most significant of them were born in the same year, 1967, the year Anton LaVey performed a satanic wedding, a satanic baptism, and a satanic military funeral in San Francisco. The year Roman Polanski filmed Rosemary's Baby. The year the modern satanic movement announced itself publicly to the world. Whether that convergence is coincidence, pattern, or something the ancient text foresaw, that is not a question we answer for you. That is a question the true God Code framework has been built to investigate. The arithmetic has been shown, the sources are primary, the confidence levels are stated, the documented record is before you. Watch, verify, decide for yourself. That is the brain layer. Every person we named is a documented public figure. Every company is real. Every contract, every investment, every Pentagon clearance, every product timeline is sourced from primary records. Court filings, Department of Justice releases, congressional documents, corporate announcements, and established investigative journalism. The prophetic identification is the true God Code framework's interpretation of that record, held at the confidence levels we stated throughout, with the weaknesses acknowledged honestly. We do not ask you to agree with everything you just heard. We ask you to check it. Every source we used is available to you. The arithmetic has been shown. The documented record is before you. Take it, verify it, and reach your own conclusions. If this study opened something for you, if you saw a connection you had not seen before, if the pieces arranged themselves in a way that gave you pause, then please do one thing before you close this video. Share it with one person. One person in your life who is ready to look. That is how this work reaches the people it is meant to reach. Not through algorithms, though we are grateful when those help. Through you. Through one person deciding that someone else in their life needs to see this. Like this video, if the research added something to your understanding, it tells us that this kind of careful, sourced, documented work is worth continuing. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next, because the next study covers the layer that watches everything. And what we found in that research will change how you look at every camera, every sensor, and every screen in your daily life. We are grateful you were here. We are grateful you looked. We are grateful you are part of this community of people who believe that the truth documented and sourced and stated honestly, is more powerful than anything else we could offer. This is true God code. We will see you in the next one.